Peace, peace. Good evening. Good night. Welcome, everyone. Peace, peace. I hope you're all doing well tonight. Peace, everyone. I hope you're excited for tonight's special guest. High alert. Someone said high alert. Peace, peace, everyone. Okay. Aisha, you said, I'm so grateful to spend time with y'all tonight. It is much needed. Yes, yes. It is always wonderful to, be in the energy and the presence of the soul family. Always uplifting. Welcome. Love and light to you, Pamela. Peace, Soliloquy. Welcome, everyone that is here. Welcome to all of you who have been waiting in the chat. Let's go ahead and dive in. Before we get started, y'all know why we are here. If you know why we are here, type MyRah in the chat. MYRAH. MyRah in the chat. Let's get this energy started. Let's get this energy flowing. Tonight is going to be powerful. It is going to be powerful. We have an amazing lecture, y'all. An amazing lecture, specially created for the soul family. This is something that Sister MyRah has been working on for the past weeks. I'm not even 100% sure of exactly what she's going to teach on. I said, I don't even know what you're going to be teaching on, but I've been excited about it since she said, I'm going to do something special for the soul family because they need to be prepared for this solstice. And she wanted to do it before December 21st. So yes, I see all the MyRahs in the chat. Energy is feeling good. Energy is feeling good. Awesome. So here's what we're going to do. Share the video. Make sure you like the video. Share with everyone. Share with everyone that you know, especially those who you know who are on the spiritual path. Because what we know for a fact is that Sister MyRah is going to share some truth with us tonight. And even if you're like, I'm not quite sure, there's some things I don't understand, hold on to it. Because one thing that I know is that Spirit always backs her up and always explains even later in a greater way, more expensive way. Oh, this is what she meant. I get it now, right? So let's go. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to read Sister MyRah's bio, which I think is so important. Some of you who are like, well, who's Sister MyRah? I heard about her, but I'm not really sure. And then we have some of you that know her. Maybe this is your first time to the channel. And then I have a lot of students and just people who have been on this channel that has seen me bring her on here before. But it's important to know who she is for those of you who are not 100% certain, right? Who is this amazing woman? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to read this bio for you all. I'm going to make it a little larger because I know it's quite small. There we go. Let me know in the chat if you can see it. Drop an 8 if you can see it well. So you can read along with me. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes, Big Mama energy. SiStar MyRah Moss. SiStar MyRah Moss is an inspired, self-taught energy master. She studies spiritual energy. She also refers to herself as holistic because she believes that the key to the universe is the balance of opposites. Anywhere where you can balance opposites is where you complete the spiritual spiral and open a vortex, gaining access to the energies of the universe. She considers this energy process a formula of creation. She began her interest in astrological energies by studying all of the astrological signs. This is how she was able to see the holistic concept, and everything else only expanded from there in a precept upon precept reality of learning. She began to break in exposure by starting her presentations in Atlanta, Georgia. She was then offered the opportunity of being a regular guest on a well-known radio show. She has since done presentations all over the United States. The distribution of videos from those presentations opened her up to a national and international audience and clientele. She has a full source of videos on the internet as Sister MyRah as well. She loves serving the spiritual family to assist in their recognition of each of the individual roles and contribution to a magnificent royal universal purpose of fulfilling our collective spiritual destiny in the Aquarius age of the evolution of righteousness. Sister MyRah resides in Omaha, Nebraska. She is a world-renowned master astrology and energy teacher. Her work has helped transform the lives of many melanated people across the globe. She has received millions of views via YouTube and other internet sites for her astounding, transformative, and amazing work. Through her humility, devotion, and dedication to the cosmic royal family, she has succeeded in changing the world and upping the vibration on the planet Earth. It is my honor, my great honor, to welcome all of you today to SiStar MyRah. Welcome, Sister MyRah.
Thank you. Thank you. I love being here, Professor Melanie, and of course, SAU, class members, and all the other audience that are here. It's always my pleasure to share whatever information Spirit brings me to deliver to you. Remember, I call myself the reporter for the cosmos. So it's not about me and what I think or believe. It's about what I receive, and then gives to you, then turn it over to you to do with it what your spirit, guides you to do with the information. So
thank you, Sister MyRah. I want to take a moment, as I always do, and I just want you to receive love. So in the chat, share some love with Sister MyRah. I'm going to share it on the screen just so that you can receive the love from everyone. Just know how much you are loved, how much you are appreciated. So thank you.
Definitely my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. I definitely feel the love. And
Awesome.
it's well appreciated, believe me.
Awesome. So before we begin, and I was talking to Sister MyRah about this, I call myself a spiritual nerd, right? I'm a spiritual scientist nerd. And so I was speaking about this verse in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And every time I think about the verse, I think about you, Sister MyRah. And so I asked Sister MyRah if I could, share this verse with her. So I'm going to share it with everyone, and I'm going to tell you how this pertains to Sister MyRah. Okay, so this is the book. It's the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, I like this version because this version does not add anything to it. Okay, is the integrity of this book is very well documented, and so we're literally in the section. It's called the Book of Secrets. Okay. And so we're right here. You can screenshot it if you like. And so this is 4th Qumran 300. And Qumran stands for the city in which it was found. And so go ahead and read this. And so it says, consider the soothsayers, those teachers of sin. And so soothsayers are people that preach to people or teach to people to make them feel good about themselves. Okay. And then it says, it is giving instructions. So it's a sage giving instructions to the people. And then it says, to tell the soothsayer, say the parable, declare the riddle before we even speak. Then you will know if you have truly understood. So the sage that wrote this saying, before you have anyone speak to you, tell them, say the parable, declare the riddle before we even speak. Okay? Then you will know if you have truly understood. It goes on to say, your foolishness. For the seal of the vision is sealed up from you, and you have not properly understood the eternal mysteries, and you have not become wise in understanding, for you have not properly understood the origin of wisdom. And so I always reference Sister MyRah to this because for several reasons, y'all. Sister MyRah is not going to tell you something just to make you feel good. She's going to speak truth. And from the early 2000s, she's been saying the same truth, y'all. She didn't flip. It did not change. Okay. She didn't say, well, let me talk about this now because this is something that's trending. She was saying Big Mama back, Mama Universe. She was saying this years ago before anyone was talking about Mama Universe, right? She was talking about astrology and what it meant for spiritual beings years ago. And the same truth that she was saying now, all of the things that she was saying, and you can look it up, is now manifesting. Now we are seeing this truth. When I say truth is truth, Sister MyRah embodies truth is truth. So when she speaks, she is speaking. The Mama Universe is channeling through her. It is not MyRah that is speaking, right? It is SiStar MyRah that's being used as a vessel. And when she says something, it manifests because she's being used. Like she says, she's a reporter for the cosmos. And so I wanted to read that to edify you, Sister MyRah.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
And just to show gratitude for you doing this work through all that you have been through, all of the challenges, and being consistent and saying, I'm still going to show up for the soul family. There are those out here that need me, and I'm going to teach these messages to them. And I want to thank you for bringing this message forth to us today. So thank you so much, Sister MyRah.
Oh, my pleasure. It's an honor, such a glowing presentation of me and my work. And it's always nice to be appreciated. And you definitely have brought that out. I thought I was retired. I keep telling that story. I was retired until Professor Melanie said, "Oh no," and nobody gives you better exposure than a Leo. That's their role. So I'm very grateful to you, for bringing me out at a time when the information is very significant for what we're looking at and what we're heading to and into. And so you gave me a good platform, to be able to, put this information out there. So I'm very grateful for that, for all of that. So thank you, Professor Melanie, and all the wonderful students, all the wonderful people, clients, everybody that's embracing, this information, because honestly, I do have all of our best interests at heart, in giving up this information. So, I guess what you just want me to start now,
Yeah.
or okay,
You're ready.
okay. And of course, it's we're talking about Anteus, and I know a lot of you aren't sure who Anteus is, so I'm going to definitely explain what this is all about. How this came up with Professor Melanie. We were talking about the December 21st because that is the point of no return. I do call myself a holistic, as she mentioned in the bio, which means I feel like two halves make a whole. Energy goes a full 360-degree spiral before it's complete or whole or holistic, which means 180 degrees on each half. So the balance of opposites, 180 degree on each half, completes a full 360-degree spiral, which is how we open up a vortex for access to the next level. We're dealing with a multitude of levels, not time. It's about levels that we're dealing with, in this holistic universal purpose that is being fulfilled. And that consists of the balance of opposites. Two halves make a whole, holistic, 180 degrees on each half. And what a lot of people don't understand about that is that you don't blend energy, you harmonize energy. So that means you have to complete one half before you activate the opposite half in equal measure as an opposite reflection. So that's the point we're reaching now on December 21st. We're reaching a half of a universal purpose being fulfilled. And what we're looking at is the spiritual half, the physical half versus the spiritual half. And we've been doing the physical half through many, many lifetimes. So this is a very strategic point as we're reaching December 21st, which is going to be the cutoff point for the physical half, as it now comes into balance with the spiritual half. So it does its 180-degree reflection of what we've now completed on the physical half. The physical half is where we've been the vessels of sacrifice and struggle through many, many lifetimes. And all our sacrifices and struggles are now being tallied up as our investment in what's now getting ready to pay off in opposite spiritual return, in spiritual reward and spiritual empowerment. Two halves make a whole, and until it's whole or holistic, it's not real. Anytime you're looking at a part of the whole, you're looking at the illusion. We've been in the land of illusion. We've been in the physical half of this operation, and now it's getting ready. We're getting ready to hop the fence to the spiritual half, where that completes that full 360-degree spiral, which opens up a vortex and gives us access to the next level energy vibration. We're dealing with a multitude of levels, not time, levels. We have the individual level, we have the couple level, then we have the family level, community level. It goes into like a local, a national, an international, and then we get to a global level. The global level is a completion of a 180-degree half. So the global level is the level we're now completing, all the way up from the individual to a global level. And as we cross over December 21st, we're going to now start accessing the planetary level. We're talking energy vibrations here. So now we're going to access the planetary level, which then moves from a universal level, and then it moves to a star system level. So these are all the levels we have the ability to balance energy. And wherever we can balance energy, two halves make a whole. That is how we open up a holistic spiral and opening up that vortex. So we're at the crossroads of a major completion when it comes to half of a universal purpose being fulfilled. And now it's time to reflect the opposite spiritual half of how this comes into balance. The key to everything in the universe is balance. Two halves make a whole. Wherever you can balance opposites equally is how you open up that vortex. This is an infinite process, transformation, regeneration for evolution of spiritual rulership. And anytime we get into the Aquarius age, that's when this evolution process starts, because Aquarius is the sign of evolution. And like I said, I don't believe in 12 individual signs anymore. I believe in 6 axes of energy. So it's not until you put the two opposites together that you have the whole. So your sun sign is representing your personal physical half, and then your opposite sign of your sun sign is going to represent your spiritual energy. And that's the first balance we have to do with our own spirit, which is going to represent your opposite energy. So the 6 axes of energy, you guys probably heard me say this before, but I'm going to go over it quickly for those who haven't. So the 6 axes of energy, we start with Aries and Libra. Then we go to Taurus and Scorpio. Then it's Gemini, Sagittarius, Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo, Pisces. Those are the 6 axes of energy where you have to balance the two pairs. You have to balance the pairs in order to see the whole. I always use the example of Aries and Libra. Aries, the first axis of energy. Aries is the warrior, the fire, and Libra is the peacemaker, the air. If you separate the two, you have Aries kicking butt all over town, and Libra, and we're not saying Libra is weak. Libra is a cardinal sign, it's a very strong sign, but Libra is the peacemaker, so trying to keep the peace. So we have the warrior and the peacemaker. And so if you separate the two, Aries doing its thing, kicking butt, and Libra, not standing up because it's trying to keep the peace and see every side of the situation. So it's not until you put the two together, the two halves together, you have a warrior for justice, taking a stand for peace or fighting for righteousness. That's how all energy works in those pairs. You have to put them in balance with its opposite in order to see the whole concept or the whole sentence. It's only like half a sentence when you're only looking at half or one sign. So you in balance with your spirit, your opposite sign, is how you come to your individual wholeness. That's the first level. And then it takes you to the second level, which is the couple level, the mate level. And then you take it to the third level, the family level. And like I said, all the way up to a star system level is where we have the ability to balance that energy. So we're coming to a major crossroads now on December 21st. And that is why we wanted to do this presentation, to describe, where we're coming from and where we're headed. But the first thing I always talk about when I do a presentation is the energy of the time or the energy of the month, which is Sagittarius. We got a few days left in Sagittarius energy. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the Sagittarius energy. And it says Sagittarius is the energy of Asar. Some of you know him as Osiris, but Asar is the most ancient name. Asar, we're dealing with the fire element. I break down the royal family. This whole thing is a family endeavor. From one in the physical vessels as family, following that line of energy all the way out to the collective energy through the four elements that represents the highest vibration of the royal family of spiritual energy. So we're going to start because the sun, and the sun is always focused. Wherever the sun is at is where we're getting the exposure from the universe, where we're focusing the energy. So right now the sun is in Sagittarius. That is a fire sign. So we're going to first deal with the fire energy because that's what Sagittarius is, a fire sign. Fire, okay, the air is the father component, father spirit. The fire is the sun component, the sun of power. And then the balance between that masculine half to the feminine half, the internal. Now we're dealing with the water element, which is the mama component. And then we deal with the earth element, which is the daughter component. So we have father spirit, son of power, mama universe, and daughter earth. So when we're dealing with the fire, the sun component. Now, you have all this energy in you. What I'm talking, not male, female, I'm talking masculine and feminine. Masculine is external, air and fire, and feminine is internal, earth and water. So you have a full spiral within you. But it's your sun sign that gives you what you came in here to focus and expose when it came to your spiritual purpose, mastery, and destiny being fulfilled. You came in here to focus through the particular sun sign, as you balance with your spirit. And it's now time for us to go into an equal balance partnership with our spirit, which is our opposite energy. So those who have a Sagittarius sun sign, their spiritual energy would be Gemini. the opposite sign of Sagittarius. So that would be the energy of their spirit. So that is what we're going to first look at, the Sagittarius energy, the sun component. So we're going to look at the fire aspect of things. Now, in the physical rotation, we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. However, spirit is opposite the physical. So when we're going to reverse the rotation when we're looking at it from a spiritual perspective. But we're going to start with Leo. And the planetary ruler of Leo is the sun. So this is all about the resurrection of the sun to its power, the sun. So the first fire sign in the spiritual rotation, and the planetary ruler of Leo, the sun. All this is being activated because we went into the Aquarius age. Aquarius is the sign of evolution. And anytime we go into the Aquarian age, it's time for evolution. And its opposite sign, Leo, is the creative ruler. So the evolution of a new creative rulership is what we're looking at the Aquarius and Leo axis of energy. It's time for an evolution of a new age rulership. Leo is the sign of creative rulers, and Aquarius is the sign of evolution. Aquarius is the sign of I know. Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. And Leo is the creative ruler. So when we balance those two in the Aquarian age, it's time for an evolution of a new creative rulership out of an abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment. As the ancient rulers, our ancestors, are passing us the baton as the new age rulers to evolve from the abuse of power, which is the only sin there is in the spiritual reality, the abuse of power. I don't care how much power you're given, that is how you're going to be judged as to how you use that power. Are you going to use it righteously, or are you going to use it abusively? This has a lot to do with Asar, or the Sagittarius energy, as I will explain. But first, we're going to look at Leo, the resurrection of the sun. And as the sun resurrects into Aries, the next fire sign in the spiritual rotation, the planetary ruler of Aries is Mars. Mars is where we, is the influence for Aries, and what they call Haru energy, because Aries is the most personal sign of the zodiac. And Aries is where you come to a full 360 degrees of personal power. That's when you step up as Haru, when you step into your full 360 degrees of personal power. That's full spiral, a full circle. And that's what steps us up as Haru. And once the Harus all come together in their 360 degrees of personal power, that is what takes us to Sagittarius, a SARS energy, where we come together in the abundance of our collective empowerment. The planetary ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter energy, the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is the great beneficent. Everybody gets their blessings through Jupiter. Jupiter, anything that energy of Jupiter touches, it brings in abundance. So the last fire sign, the ultimate sun, with the planetary ruler Jupiter, where we're now ready to come to the abundance of our collective powers. Now, the story of Asar, Sagittarius energy, is where we talk about Asar being cut into 14 pieces. He was cut into the 14 pieces by Set, or the father, the air element. The air element, the father component, is righteous thinking. So the ultimate father of righteous thinking, father's spirit, righteous father's spirit, the air element, had to cut the ultimate sun down into 14 cycles of time in order for him to mature and how to use his powers righteously without abusing them. That's the only sin there is in the spiritual reality, is the abuse of power. So this is how the ultimate father of righteous thinking was keeping the son in his ultimate power from abusing that power and committing the ultimate sin. And I know you've heard a multitude of stories, how it was Horus, it was Set, and all this. I want you to know those stories are correct. It's just that we're dealing with a multitude of levels. You're going to see a different face at a different level. What I'm talking about is the highest level of that story, how Asar was cut down into those 14 pieces. It's the highest vibration of that story, the ultimate sun, the fire, being cut into the 14 cycles of time by the ultimate father, righteous father spirit, the air element, so he could mature in how to use his powers righteously without abusing them. Before he could reap the abundance of that power, he had to prove that he will not abuse that power, but use it righteously. This has all been cycles of alchemy. So that is what we're reaching when we reach the December 21st. That means the Sagittarius or Asar has now come to the abundance of his power, having proven that he will not use that power abusively, but use it righteously. Like when our predecessors abused their powers, they screwed up the world. If we step up in our powers and abuse it, it's going to be detrimental to the universe. So this has all been a system for us to learn how to use those powers abundantly and righteously without abusing them. So we're at the point now where Asar is now coming to his wholeness. All those 14 pieces are coming back together. And the 14th piece, the last piece, was the penis, the power of resurrection. So it's time for Asar to resurrect into the abundance of his power as the ultimate son of power, opening up the blessings through Jupiter from the universe. Fulfilling half of this operation. And that is then what takes us to Capricorn, which we will reach at the winter solstice, where Capricorn and Sagittarius comes together at the winter solstice. This is that line. This is that peak. This is the highest peak of the astrological cycle. It's like the 12 o'clock hand, where Sagittarius and Capricorn comes together at the winter solstice. So the ultimate son of power has now reached his maximum power, having proved that he will use that power righteously, and now is ready to resurrect into the abundance of his empowerment, which then leads us to Capricorn at the winter solstice, the ultimate earth sign. This is what represents daughter earth. Now we're going to look at the earth axis of energy. And first we're going to look at Taurus. Now we're going to keep that first sign, Taurus, the first earth sign. We're not going to reverse this rotation. We're going to look at the first earth sign as Taurus. Taurus is the sign of values. And this is where we have to learn how to go internal. Earth and water are internal, where we go internal and define our own self-value and self-worth from within. We do that through Taurus energy. Define our own self-worth and self-value from within. Because the external, because we're going to look at the contrast between the external physical illusion versus the internal spiritual reality, and the contrast between those two. So the external physical illusion is where they took Taurus, the first earth sign, the sign of values, and they turned Taurus into materialism, so that we gauge our value based on what we possess materially. So the work we do, the personal work we do, because Taurus is on the personal half of the astrological cycle, sits right next door to Aries. Aries is the most personal sign of the zodiac. So Taurus, where you personally, on the external, do the work to earn your material power, and gauge your value. So, but the material world is falling. You know, they say soon you'll be throwing money in the streets. It has no value. And we're extremely close to that right now. And that's why it's now time for us to transition from the external dependency on our material power. It's time for us to go internal. That is what we do with the Taurus when we go internal. We define our own value and self-worth from within. We do that through Taurus. That is the work we've done spiritually, what we've mastered on spiritually through many lifetimes as our contribution to this universal purpose being fulfilled. And so the personal work we've done in our spiritual work and our spiritual mastery through many lifetimes, and now bringing it to the table in this lifetime when we went into the Aquarian age, and it's time for evolution. So everybody now brings their own mastery to the table. And the value of your mastery and contribution to this larger universal purpose is how you understand your value to this universal purpose that is now being fulfilled. You do that through Taurus. Taurus, Earths are security. When you're dealing with Earth energy, you're dealing with security, you're dealing with value. So becoming secure in your value, in the spiritual work that you're bringing to the table in the Aquarian age for evolution. So your own value and self-worth, not looking outside of yourself, and transitioning from a dependency on material power to now opening up to your spiritual empowerment through the work that you have validated for what you've mastered in and brought to the table in contribution to this holistic purpose being fulfilled. The one and all and the all in one. Everybody has a unique role and contribution to the whole. So you understand that through Taurus, but going internal and defining your own value and self-worth from within, not looking outside of yourself for anyone else to define that to you. Once you come to the security of your own value and self-worth through Taurus, it's going to lead you to the second earth sign, Virgo. Now that is where you cleanse and purify of false values. Anytime you're dealing with earth, you're dealing with values. So Virgo, the second earth sign, is where you cleanse and purify of false values to the matrix. Virgo, that's why they're always so meticulous when it comes to details, because they can leave no stone unturned as they hunt out all impurities in order to cleanse and purify of those impurities in order to heal in our wisdom. Virgo is the sign of wisdom, where you unplug from the matrix. And once you have unplugged from the matrix through Virgo, as you've cleansed and purified of false values and unplugged from the matrix through Virgo, that is how it takes you to the ultimate earth sign, Capricorn. Capricorn represents daughter character, daughter earth, the energy of integrity and character. Having been cleansed and purified through Virgo, now you step up to the integrity and the character of your Capricorn energy. So that is where you step up to that integrity and character of the Capricorn energy, which represents daughter earth at the planetary level, daughter earth, Capricorn. So now that's the full earth cycle. And Capricorn, a daughter earth, has been the one who's been rejected in her value. Capricorn is the sign of rejection. So wherever your Capricorn is at in your chart is where you've been rejected in your value externally by others. For me, it was being dark skinned. Others, it could be light skinned, or it could be too skinny, too tall. Wherever the external world critiques your value and rejects that value is where you're playing the Capricorn role, or which is the energy of Cinderella. That's the planetary story. Cinderella is the planetary story of daughter Earth. So where you have been rejected in your value. Daughter Earth, this is who they're talking about when they say the rejected stone, who becomes the cornerstone. It's in her rejection and redemption, the earth is transformed. Daughter Earth. That's what Cinderella means, from the bottom to the top. So the highest value, the earth is value. Capricorn is the last earth sign, so it is of the highest value, the high priestess, the princess. But in the land of illusion, we've been in the land of illusion. That is what we're completing in the next few days. The land of illusion. In the land of illusion, character, the energy of Capricorn or daughter Earth, is not respected. It's rejected in the land of illusion. That is how she became that rejected stone and was put at the bottom of the totem pole in her value, because she's the energy of character and integrity. And that's not respected in the land of illusion. That is how she was put at the bottom of the totem pole in the physical illusion. But the physical is opposite the spiritual. So if she was at the bottom in the physical, that means in the opposite spiritual, she is of the highest value, the high priestess, the princess. So she being redeemed in her value. In other words, redeeming character. And those who are at the bottom, since spirit is spiral in this transformation of energy, the one who's at the bottom, the most at the bottom, is the one who will spiral most to the top. So that is how we get the winter solstice, where the ultimate sun, coming to the maximum of his power, becomes equal to the ultimate daughter of character, who's been redeemed in her value as character. So the ultimate son and the ultimate daughter of character. We have 3 levels of that fire earth energy combination. The fire is the son, the earth is the daughter. So we have the first combination is Aries and Taurus. The second combination is Leo and Virgo. Now, in the movie The Matrix, which is the most significant metaphysical movie, they showed Trinity and Neil, they play the role of Leo and Virgo. Because in the first movie, The Matrix, Trinity brings Neil back to life. She kisses him external to resurrect him from the dead, or the illusion of power through his ego. Man can't come out of the matrix in ego. So when they took him to the oracle and he's trying to identify his powers through his ego and doubt his power as the one, that is why the oracle said, no, you're not the one. And then that's when she pointed to the sign above the door that says, know thyself. If you don't know you're the one, then you're not the one. You have to know who you are in order to become who you are. That is the Aquarius and Leo axis of energy. Aquarius being the sign of I know, and Leo being the creative rulers. I know I am a creative ruler in order to step up to that rulership. And the Leo, the sun, is what is now exposing everything that is been hidden, for us to recognize who we are as the royal rulers, the creative rulers of the universe. So now all that information is being exposed. That is Leo's role with the sun. The sun always represents exposure. So our evolution as new age rulers, being exposed, what's been hidden that has denied us our knowing as to who we are as the creative rulers of the universe. So that is what the Aquarian and Leo axis of energy is bringing to the table. So that's what was being demonstrated when Neil went to the oracle and she said, no, you're not the one, because you don't know you're the one. You have to know you are the one before you step up to that power. But Trinity knew. The reason Trinity knew was because the oracle Mama, who spoke for the oracle, who spoke for Mama, who speaks to you internal through the water or how you feel. Mama is the ancient of ancients. She's the mama of antiquity, ancestry, ancestors. That is Mama's role. So Mama speaks to you internal, the feminine, through the water or how you feel, but from your ancient memory. So who you loved in antiquity is who you love today, is who Mama is identifying who you loved in antiquity. So when the oracle told Trinity she was going to fall in love with the one, that is how she knew that Neil was the one. That is how she was able to impart that knowing to him and resurrect him from the dead, or the illusion of power through his ego. She said, I know you're the one, because the oracle told me I was going to fall in love with the one. I'm in love with you. That makes you the one. So get your butt up. So that is how she resurrected Neil from the dead, the illusion of power through his ego. But in the second movie, The Matrix, he brings her back to life. He goes internal. First, he removes the bullet, the impurity, and then he goes back in and massages her heart. And the first thing she says when she opens her eyes is, now we're even, which means now we're equal. Now we can come together as one, telepathically connected. You'll see her in the background, the internal, the Virgo, giving him guidance through her wisdom as he moves out as the sun, Leo, and exposes the power guided by her wisdom. Power without wisdom is futile. When you put Leo and Virgo together, you have the Sphinx, the body of the lion, Leo, the power, and the head of the woman, Virgo. Wisdom, power guided by wisdom. So superseding the ego, Leo, and opening the heart, also Leo, to the value of wisdom, Virgo. So that's the role Trinity and Neil played, the second level of the earth and fire energy combination. And now we're approaching the final combination of that fire and earth, the culmination of the last level of that fire and earth. As Sagittarius comes to his abundance of power as the ultimate son, and that is how he becomes equal to the daughter of character who has been redeemed in her value. Daughter character and the son of power now coming together as Sagittarius and Capricorn, Asar and daughter Earth, the high priestess, the princess, now becoming equal in their culmination of character being redeemed, and the ultimate son of power accessing the full abundance of power, having proved that he won't abuse that power, but use it righteously. So that is what is culminating at the highest of operation between those two energies at the winter solstice, where the two comes together. And you know, the planetary ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. So that is where the sun, Asar, ascends as Saturn, the father at the planetary level. The father at the planetary level, the planet Saturn. So that is how he comes from the ultimate sun to this father as Saturn, the planetary ruler of Capricorn, that comes in at the winter solstice. When they talked about the return of the king or the return of the father, that's what they're talking about, Saturn at the winter solstice, as those two come together. Now we're equal. Now we're even. The ultimate son now equal to the ultimate daughter of character. So that is how what that winter solstice is bringing to the table at its highest level. So all those details that you look at, the stories you've heard, and and you're looking at the difference in the details that I'm talking about, it's just a matter of what level you're looking at. We're following a line of energy from one end, the individual vessel, us, the boots on the ground, all the way up to those highest collective components of family energy through those 4 elements. You get no higher than the 4 elements. Everything in the universe is going to fall under one of those 4 elements: the father, the son, the mama, and the daughter. We're the individual vessels of that family at ground level, and we now have access to vibrating all the way up to that collective energy of the royal family through those 4 aspects. You get no higher perspective than those 4 elements, which represents the 4 members of that royal family. They're like the 4 pistons in the engine. All 4 has to be harmonizing equally in order to generate the power. If one is unequal or one is missing, you get a misfire. Daughter Earth has not been equal. She is the only one. We had the prince through Aries, the cardinal fire, or the royal fire, or the prince, the sun. We had the queen through Cancer, the cardinal water, or the royal water, the mama, or the queen. We have the king through Libra, the cardinal air, or the royal air, or the king, the royal father. And the only one who hadn't gotten her crown or reached her sacred status was the Capricorn, the princess, the daughter, daughter Earth. So that is why we haven't been in balance. The key to everything is balance. 2 halves make a whole, 180 degrees on each half. So we weren't complete, we weren't whole, because she had not reached her sacred status as the princess. And now she's being crowned. And as she's crowned as the princess, that now that completes us as a royal family of energy. The prince through Aries, the queen through Cancer, the king through Libra, and now we got the princess through Capricorn, which completes us as a royal family. And that is what takes us to a star system level. And now daughter Earth, as the princess, can now go into balance or into a partnership or relationship with Anubis of the Sirius star system. The Sirius star system is where our ancient ancestral energy resides, at the Sirius star system. And the marriage between Anubis, the dog star, and daughter Earth, now that she's at her sacred status and we are now at the level of a star system, we can now balance with the ancient ancestral energy on the Sirius star system, with us as the new age star system between daughter Earth and Anubis. Anubis is another form of Asar or Sagittarius. The daughter, the Earth. See, you got to realize we're dealing with a multitude of levels. And a lot of times when I get challenged on the details, that is because people are still just looking at everything from the bottom level, from the physical level, from the illusionary level. But you have to take it through many levels where you'll see a multitude of faces at different levels. So that is why you get different stories with different components, but it's that same line of energy. But what I'm talking now is the maximum, where we're dealing with the ultimate. The highest vibrational level is the star system level that we can balance energy. So now we're taking it all the way from the individual vessel, the boots on the ground, all the way up to a star system level where we're now coming into balance with star systems. The ancient ancestral Sirius star system can now balance with this new age of Aquarius star system that is only now being completed as daughter Earth has gained her crown. So that is what the winter solstice is representing. Us reaching that crossroads, that 180 degree half at that winter solstice. Right now, we're at 179.999, as we're approaching the 180 degrees. Energy can only go 180 degrees. That's the maximum energy can go, 180 degrees. So we're reaching the maximum of that physical half. And that represents the global level, where there's a global agenda, you see, where they have become corrupted globally in their power. So all the systems of the world has now become fully corrupted at a global level. And we're talking the political system, we're talking the medical system, the pharmaceutical system, the legal system, the educational system, the entertainment system, the news media. All these are now under a global control. That's the 180-degree maximum that they're reaching. That's their window closing, because they are reaching their maximum of their half of the operation. This global agenda, which has become fully corrupted in its power. And that is why this happens during the Aquarius age, because Aquarius is the sign of evolution, but its planetary ruler is Uranus. And Uranus brings sudden, abrupt, explosive, evolutionary, and revolutionary changes. So exploding the status quo of the powers that have been, that has reached their maximum of corrupted power, which can now balance out with the spiritual half, where we're now being liberated, where we've been under the construct and under the control of the global power, taking away our personal rights and freedoms, you see, all for the good of the whole, they claim, through doubts, fears, and guilt. That is how they manipulate you to participate with this global agenda, through doubts, fears, and guilt, which is what lowers your vibration and keeps you vulnerable to that attack. So we have to all get into balance with our spirit through Libra. That's the first level we have to balance, is with our spirit. That's the first level. Everybody gets into balance with their spirit through Libra. Libra is the sign of partnership. It's an air sign, so it's spiritual, and it's the sign of peace. So once you have passed that baton, that means we've done our half collectively as the physical vessels of sacrifice and struggle. We've completed our half through many, many lifetimes of our negative polarity. Energy only unfolds to a negative and positive polarity, which is sacrifice and reward. So we're completing the sacrificial half of this operation. We've been the physical vessels of sacrifice and struggle through many lifetimes. But your struggles and sacrifices have only been your investment that is now being tallied up, so that you can bring back in equal measure from a spiritual half in spiritual reward and spiritual empowerment. So the balance between completing the physical half and now opening up to the spiritual balance to that. So bringing back in equal measure where we've been restricted in this construct, in this matrix, where they've restricted our power. Now the spiritual half is going to liberate us in our power, liberate us from a corrupted agenda, a corrupted power. And now we're ready to step into our liberation of spiritual empowerment as a balance to the corruption and the control in the physical half of this operation. So that is how that balance occurs. Two halves make a whole. Wherever you balance opposites and you complete that 360 spiral is how you open up the vortex and then have access to the next level energy vibration. A multitude of levels. You never get there. You only complete spirals for access to the next level, where you start a new one at a higher vibration for access to the next and the next and the next. This is an infinite process of transformation, regeneration for evolution of spiritual rulership. And that is what we get in the Aquarian. Anytime we go into the Aquarian age is when this operation occurs, the evolution of a new age rulership, out of the abuse of power to this humanitarian righteous rulership. That's what's waiting for us on the other side of the fence. Now, it's not going to be a big explosion and all of that. It's just going to be where the energy vibration turns. And then you're going to see more and more as that energy begins to reverse into a spiritual righteous rotation out of a physical illusionary rotation. So you're going to start seeing those things begin to open up in the energy as the two halves come into balance to create the whole. So that is what we're dealing with at the winter solstice when we're looking at the Sagittarius energy coming to a head and then opening up to the Capricorn energy, the ultimate son and the ultimate daughter now coming into balance. Sagittarius represents the western half and Capricorn the eastern half in hemisphere. Then the opposite sign of Capricorn is Cancer, so that's the mama at the bottom, at the physical level now. And then the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini, the air element, which is the father, where they're switching roles. The son and the daughter are being elevated to its highest, and the mama and the father will now reverse and be the energy at the physical level, in this bigger scheme of things. So that is how we bring the Eastern and the Western hemisphere together, and then we bring the North and the South together. That full balance, that fourfold balance, the dual balance of opposites is what we get at the winter solstice, complete balance from the bottom to the top and from the east to the west, all coming together in balance and in harmony. You don't blend energy. It's important to remember, you do not blend energy. You harmonize energy. We're all coming together with our unique purpose to bring to the table in contribution to the whole, the one and all in the all in one. We don't come together and blend into one. We all come together and harmonize as one because we all have a unique purpose to bring to the table. Your reality is no more wrong or right than anyone else's. We all master from our own journey guided by our spirit through many lifetimes. That's how we do our mastery and our purpose in order to bring that to the table in the Aquarian age when it's time for this evolution to occur. So we all come together in our mastery and contribution and bring it all together as one, in harmonization as one, not blending as one. So that is the nature of the Sagittarius and the Capricorn, the winter solstice, December 21st. So now I'm going to go into the title, which is dealing with Anteus. And this is the section where I'm dealing with the fragile mind. How did we end up in this illusion? That is what we're going to indicate through Anteus. How did we end up in this illusion? It's all about the mind. It's all about how we're thinking. Righteous Father Spirit, who speak to us through how we think, or the mind. That is his role. His ultimate goal is to create a collective righteous mindset. That is the Father's ultimate role as the Father of righteous thinking, the air element. So he is here to teach us lessons. He is the disciplinarian. He is the one that teaches us lessons of thinking righteously. As Saturn at the planetary level, the Father, he is the one that is the Lord of karma. He is the one that will challenge us, restrict us, and limits us just to see how we're going to overcome those limitations and restrictions by staying true to our integrity. That is what the Father challenges us to do, to overcome our limitations and restrictions by staying true to our integrity, not abusing our power, but thinking righteously. So that is what this is dealing with when we're dealing with Anteus, how we're thinking, how we were conquered by the way we think. If we believe they can get us, then yes, we've opened the door for them to get us. If we know they can't touch us, they can't touch us, you see. So it's how you're thinking. If you're thinking pessimistic, you're going to energize pessimistic. That's how we energize through our thoughts. If we're thinking optimistic, we're going to energize optimistic. So keeping us in doubts, fears, and guilt is what keeps us at a lower vibration and keeps us vulnerable to the attack of the matrix or the illusion. We're the ones energizing the illusion. As we buy into it through our fears, doubts, and guilt, we're the ones energizing the illusion for the energy that they want to unfold on the earth. So, us buying into it is how we're energizing it. And now that we're waking up, we're blowing holes in the illusion, and it no longer has the power to sustain itself. So, that's how Humpty Dumpty is falling off the wall. Um, and Humpty Dumpty is depicted as an egg, which means he has a fragile position of power. It's not real, it's based on an illusion. We've been under the auspices of false parents, the father of illusion, the ma of tricks, the matrix, and the ma of terror, materialism, where we are getting divine intervention from our true parents, righteous Father Spirit, and Mama Universe. But as they keep us at a lower vibration, then we have to lift our vibration in order to access that divine intervention. So that is why they continue to bombard us, with all the bad things they can think of, so we can stay in our doubts, fears, and guilts, stay lowered in our vibration, and make us vulnerable to their attack. As we begin to wake up and pull our energy away, that is how we're blowing holes in the illusion, and that is how Humpty Dumpty is falling off that wall. So it's all in a matter of how you're thinking, your mind. That is how we maneuver in the spiritual realm, through our imagination. So it's how you're thinking. And like I said, we all get our blessings through Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, the great beneficent. But since it's the planetary ruler of Sagittarius, Sagittarius is a very optimistic energy. We have to be optimistic to tap into our blessings, or we'll go right up under it. So that's what the powers have been. Their ultimate goal is to keep us pessimistic in our thinking through doubts, fears, and guilts, to lower our vibration and keep us vulnerable to that attack. They can't come up and get us. They have to pull us down through doubts, fears, and guilts to keep us vulnerable. I always make the analogy of the big bad wolf, the system of illusion, who has to intimidate you into believing it has power over you, but its power is not real. Your power is internal. It's not outside of you. And so the system of illusion, the father of illusion, who has to intimidate you into believing it has power over you, I call that the big bad wolf. And when we're dealing with the big bad wolf and the three little pigs, the big bad wolf is the system of illusion who has to intimidate you into believing he has power over you. We just went through that in the last 4 to 5 years, and y'all know what I'm talking about, where we were all being manipulated at a global level for an agenda to restrict us and to take away our personal rights and freedom. That was the biggest evidence of how that is done. So keeping us in doubts, fears, and guilt, and lowering our vibration. But we have to be the one to participate, by buying into it. But now we have to be secure from within, and we have to step up to that Aquarius energy and rebel, because that's the energy of Aquarius or Uranus, the rebel, rebelling, exploding the status quo that has been corrupted in its power. So that's why this also happens in the Aquarius age. So the mind is how they've got us programmed in the illusion, in the way that we're thinking. That is how we energize through our thoughts. So if we think something's going to be bad, then we're energizing that into our reality. You see? So don't think about what you fear. Think about what you want to see energize from your energy. That is how you start energizing a new reality, a higher vibration. It's up to us in the way we're thinking. That is the story of Anteus. That is what I'm going to describe with Anteus. And I have some material here. I wrote this way back when I was doing the symbolisms of the Super Bowl. This material is all about, how I did the symbolism of the Super Bowl and the myth of Anteus. How it started, though, how I got wind of Anteus was my Capricorn celebrity, Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington did a movie called, the movie was called, let me see, I had it here, The Great Debater. I don't know if any of you seen the movie Denzel Washington. It was called The Great Debaters, where he took young folks to do debates all over, to different places, different cities, and different towns, and it was all melanated class, and of course they were having problems being accepted, in the debate circuit. And so they were getting all kind of pushback. And that's when Denzel Washington was the one who brought up Anteus. And this is what made me look it up. And it says, in the movie The Great Debater, Denzel Washington asked his students if they had heard of the giant wrestler Anteus. Now, I did this Super Bowl symbolism when we had the Super Bowl begin with the Giants, the New York Giants versus the New England Patriots. I've already told you the New England Patriots represented the team of the system. They were the system team, the patriotic spirit. Let's be patriotic. And they showed where the New England Patriots, as the system, took down the full royal family. When I first started doing the symbol of the Super Bowl, my spirit brought it to me right after 9/11, when the Super Bowl was where it's now in New Orleans. This was right after 9/11, and the Super Bowl was in New Orleans. And they did a Super Bowl called War on America because of 9/11. And they wanted to energize going to war with Iraq, Iran, whichever one. And so that's why they did the Super Bowl ritual for the collective people to focus on energizing war on America so they could open up the energy to go to war as 9/11 as their excuse to do that. So this was when I first started analyzing the Super Bowl. And so it took me to where I'm going to go now is to the Super Bowl between the New York Giants and the the Patriarchs. They took down the Rams after 9/11 in New Orleans. They were playing the Rams, which is Aries energy, or the prince of the royal family. So that is how the Patriarchs took out the royal prince. Then the Patriarchs also took out the queen when the Patriarchs went against North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Patriarchs. We had the matriarch versus the patriarch. This is where Janet Jackson had her malfunction in her uniform. She was the matriarch, and then I think it was Justin Timberlake played the role of the young patriarch who exposed and humiliated the matriarch. How they took down the matriarch or the queen, the patriarchs. Then they had the patriots take out the um, Philadelphia Eagles. Because anytime we're dealing with the air element, which is what the Eagles represented, we're dealing with the father component. So this is how the patriarchs took out the father or the king when they took out the Philadelphia Eagles, or the air element, which is the father component. So that means the patriarchs took out the full royal family except for the princess, the Capricorn energy. So that was a whole nother Super Bowl. But that is how they took out the prince, the queen, and the king. The patriarchs did. So when it came to the giants, and it came to the giants and the New England patriarchs, the patriotic spirit, which is the hero, that's who they pattern our Haru. They pattern their heroes after our Haru. So this is the New England Patriots playing the role of Hercules. Hercules is the man of strength who controlled the gods. And so that is who Hercules represented as the patriarchs, or the patriotic spirit, going up against the New York Giants. The New York Giants represented the royal family, the highest vibration. The giants, where Jack climbed the beanstalk and went up to the highest level and stole the treasures of the royal people, the spiritual people. They stole the harp, the ability to control the weather. They stole the golden goose, the ability to rewrite the story, and they stole the golden egg, our prosperity. And when they took those powers, then our powers started to decline. So this is what how they stole Jack and the beanstalk, how he went up and stole the powers from the giants. So when we got the patriarchs versus the New York Giants, now they do these little scripts in the Super Bowls and the Olympics and anywhere they gather a large number of people. That is how they do their rituals, how they get us to focus on how they will do these little skits. So we will focus on it and energize it into reality. So, but every now and then there's divine intervention. That means spirit takes control of the outcome. And this is one of those Super Bowls where spirit took control of the outcome. Because in this game, the Giants had barely made the Super Bowl. They were the lowly Giants, barely making the Super Bowl, where the patriarchs had not lost a game that season. So here you have the lowly Giants and the patriarchs, the intimidator, the intimidation of the patriarchs with the lowly Giants. But in this Super Bowl, he took the Giants won. So it's like the Giants taking back those powers, the power of the weather, the harp, the power to rewrite the story, the golden goose, and the prosperity, the golden egg. So that means the giant was no longer sleeping dead, and and gaining those powers back. That was being symbolized in that Super Bowl. So this is how I'm getting to Anteus. Anteus is it says here, like I said, the giant. They called Anteus the giant, and the hero, or Hercules, the man of strength, who controlled the gods through the illusion. Through the illusion. The New England Patriots has now become very intimidating and beating every team on their schedule. huffing and puffing and bluffing, the mental intimidator. And then the New York Giants came in as the Cinderella team because it was in last place. It came up from the last to be able to win the Super Bowl. That's what Cinderella means, from the bottom to the top, coming in at the bottom and then rising to the top or winning it all. So they came in as the Cinderella team, the New York Giants. Very significant in the movie The Great Debater, because Denzel Washington asked his students if they had heard of the giant wrestler Anteus. So the myth of Anteus. That is what I'm going to read here. It says Hercules, which is their hero, the New England Patriots, in the form of their team. It says Hercules. Let's see here. I don't want to read all of this. I want to try to just get to the pertinent parts. It says Hercules. This is where it starts. Hercules did not return to Mycenae by a direct route. He first traveled to Libya, whose King Anteus, son of Poseidon and Mother Earth. Now, listen, Mother Earth. In this context, I'm always preaching about Daughter Earth. But when you're dealing with spirit, you have to stay flexible. You have to look at what the energy is telling you from the level you're looking at the energy. So in this context, this is going to be correct, Mother Earth. And it says here, whose King Anteus, son of Poseidon, and Mother Earth, was in the habit of forcing strangers to wrestle with him until they were exhausted, whereupon he killed them. For not only was he strong and a skillful athlete, but whenever he touched the earth, his strength revived. He saved the skulls of his victims to roof a temple of Poseidon. It is not known whether Hercules, who was determined to end this barbarous practice, challenged Anteus or was challenged by him. Now, let me make a correction here. Just like the Jack and the Beanstalk story, they turned the giant in the Jack and the Beanstalk story to a mean and vicious giant. Ho, 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 I smell the blood of an Englishman. That is not the true story. There's a movie out called The Real Jack and the Beanstalk Story. It came on TV as a 2-part story where they played it over 2 days. And in this story, they told you how, Jack went up and stole, by getting in good with one of the women at the higher level. He stole. That's how he got in position to steal those treasures. And the giant was not a mean giant. He was very beneficent. He was even trying to offer Jack some of the eggs, but Jack wanted it all. So in their story, Jack and the Beanstalk, they turned the giant into an evil being, which is the opposite, which is the truth. And the same here with Anteus. They're turning him into, this giant who just kills people and then puts their skulls. Don't buy into that. That is not the truth. Anteus actually represents the sleeping giants, no longer sleeping dead. So they go on to say, Anteus, however, proved no easy victim, being a giant who lived in a cave beneath a towering cliff where he feasted on the flesh of lions and slept on the bare ground in order to conserve and increase his already colossal strength. Mother Earth, not yet sterile after her birth of the giants, had conceived Anteus in a Libyan cave and found more reasons to boast of him. It says here, in other words, okay, I'm going to keep reading and say, in preparation for this wrestling match, both combatants cast off their lion pelts, but while Hercules rubbed himself with oil In the Olympic fashion, Antheus poured hot sand over his limbs, lest contact with the earth through the soles of his feet alone should prove insufficient. Hercules planned to preserve his strength and wear Anteus down. But after tossing him full length on the ground, he was amazed to see the giant's muscles swell and a healthy flush suffuse his limbs as Mother Earth revived him. Mother Earth was Anteus' mother. And anytime Antheus touched the ground or the earth, she energized him with more strength. In other words, it says the combatants grappled again, and presently Antheus flung himself down of his own accord, not waiting to be thrown upon the ground, which Hercules, realizing what was going on, because when he saw Anteus throw himself on the ground, that's when Hercules realized that every time he hit the ground, he was gaining strength from his mama, the earth. For him, Mother Earth, she would energize him as he touched the ground and get more power. And when he flung himself on his own accord on the ground to gain more strength and power, that is when Hercules began to realize where Anteus was getting his strength from. And so that is when Hercules, realizing, lifted Anteus high into the air and then cracked his ribs. And despite the hollow groans of Mother Earth, held him aloft until he died. So in other words, when Hercules held Anteus up in the air, that mentally made Anteus believe his disconnection from his mama, the earth, weakened him and made him vulnerable. And because he believed he was weakened, because he was held in the air, or the mind, the illusion, because he believed he was weakened by not being able to touch the earth, that is how he became vulnerable and was strangled by Hercules. Thus, the illusion. Thus, us participating with the illusion. Not knowing our own strength and our own power. So that is the story of Anteus. Us in the illusion. Us being mentally strangled through doubts, fears, and guilts, keeping us at a lower vibration, keeping us vulnerable to the attack of the illusion through the mind or how we're thinking. That is the story of Anteus. That is what we're now having to come out of, that vulnerability and thinking, if we don't have this or we don't have that, we can't do, we can't be, you see, like Neil going to the oracle, trying to identify his power through his ego, and then having doubts about that power, you see, and taking him out of his knowing, the Aquarius. I know I am a creative ruler, Leo. I know my power. Like everybody knows, my most favorite phrase is, I'm hammer time. You can't touch this, because I know who I am. I know my power. I know the source of my power, and I'm secure in that power. That is the earth element, the security internally in who you are. The internal, the earth and the water. That is where you make your connection to Mama Universe through the internal, the water. She speaks to you internal through how you feel from your ancient memory. The earth is your security, your value and your security. When you're secure in the value of what you feel on the internal, that is how you're dealing with the mama and the daughter. The internal, the universal energy, the security, and mama's love and mama's magic, you see. So you're dealing internally. That is where you connect to the universal whole from the internal. But when you're looking outside of yourself in the illusion, where they have programmed us mentally to think we're vulnerable to the attack through doubts, fears, and guilt, is how we're lowering our vibration and filling our vulnerability. And that's how we're being strangled from our power. So that is the story of Anteus, you see, coming out of the illusion, understanding our true power through the elements. That is our royal family, the elements, you see. So this is an ancient story, the fragile mind. So everything is about how you're thinking. So I also got this material that I want to read in reference to that, and to how we're thinking, as to how we empower ourselves. The air and the fire, that's the Father and the Son. The air is spirit and the fire is power. So spiritual power is when we're dealing with the Father and the Son, the air element and the fire element. We're dealing with security and value internally with the earth or the daughter component, and we're dealing with the universal love, the universal magic, when we're dealing with the water or the mama internally. So those are the four components of those four pistons. We have all that energy within us. We can call on any one of those royal family members. This whole thing is about harmonizing family relationships at the highest vibration. The mama has to harmonize with the father. The mama has to harmonize with the son. The mama has to harmonize with the daughter. The father has to harmonize with the mama. The father has to harmonize with the son, and the father has to harmonize with the daughter. The daughter has to harmonize with the son. The daughter has to harmonize with the mother, and the daughter has to harmonize with the father. The son has to harmonize with the daughter. The son has to harmonize with the father, and the son has to harmonize with the mother. So it's a full circle of harmonizing those four aspects of royal family energy. So that is what this whole thing is, us as a royal family through our energy as identified through the four elements. So that is who we are, the royal rulers, you see. But we have to know our power. That's the Aquarian age. We have to know our power in order to step up to it. And that is why the Aquarian age is so significant, especially in its connection with Leo, because this is the time for our evolution and our knowing, our evolution of our knowing, as everything that's been hidden about who we are is now being exposed. So we can now step up in the knowing as to who we are as the royal new age rulers of the universe, evolving from this abuse of corrupted power to a humanitarian empowerment. As the ancient rulers, our ancestors from the Sirius star system, are now passing us the baton as those new age rulers to evolve from that abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment. That is what the Aquarius and Leo axis of energy brought to the table. That is what we're fulfilling at the winter solstice, the half where we've been in the illusionary, physical, external half of the operation. Now it's time for us to go internal to the spiritual reality of our connection to Mama Universe. Mama Universe, she's the mama of us all. And she, is the water or love. So sending her love from a universe all the way down to us, the individual vessels or the boots on the ground. Now it's time for us to go internal, and through our Kundalini rising through the chakras to the crown chakra is how we connect to the bigger universal purpose. That's internal. That is not outside of you. What's outside of you is the physical illusion. It's not real. What's real is what's internal through the feminine, the earth and the water, the mama and the daughter. We are the physical boots or vessels on the ground. We are the manifested vessels of Big Mama. She's too omniscient as Mama Universe to come down to ground level and take care of her family herself. So she sent in her vessels, her boots on the ground. Those of us who fell from the highest to the lowest and now in transformation come back full circle to the highest again. So from the highest to the lowest and back to the highest again. That's what the winter solstice is bringing to the table for us to cross that fence, hop the fence to Mama's house. Everything did start matriarchal, antiquity, ancestry, ancestors. That is when our ancestors had their powers. That is who they patterned the superheroes after. Our ancestors could fly. They could breathe underwater. They could talk telepathically with the plants, the animals, the universe, each other. We still have those powers. However, they're subconscious. That's the cosmic realm, the soul realm, Mama's domain. That's what's hidden, the subconscious. And that's what we're coming back to. Spirit is spiral. Everything started matriarchal, then it spiraled to the patriarchal half, where it became external and masculine, air and fire. And anytime we go into the Aquarius age, it's time to come back full circle to the mama again, where we're ready to hop that fence to the mama's half from the father's half. We put a pin in father's half. He's the knowing half. We've reached the maximum of our knowing. The Aquarian age, I know, the highest outreach to spiritual knowledge. So we've completed that half. We know everything we need to know. We've reached the maximum of what we need to know. Your spirit has already at this point brought you everything you need to know. Now it's time to utilize what you know or walk in that knowing. That is where you go internal and become secure in the love of Mama Universe and her magic. You become secure from within and send that vibration out external, and it will reflect itself as air and fire or spiritual powers. But you have to first be secure from within, and how Mama speaks to you through the water or how you feel from your ancient memory, from your ancestral. This is where we go into the Akashic records, Pisces energy, the interest into the subconscious, Mama's domain, the soul realm, where we reconnect with our ancestors and the powers and the magic of the universe and the powers of our ancestors. The gifts of our ancestors become available to us through the subconscious, where we have to access from internal. And when we're secure, the earth and that value of what we're feeling, how Mama speaks to us internal from our ancient memory, then that Mama represents the ancestors. So when we go internal and trust what we feel when it comes to our ancestral powers, that is how we'll then send that vibration out externally, and it will reflect as air and fire or spiritual power. And to the security of the value of who we, to our security in what we feel from the internal is the magnitude of the power that's reflected external as spiritual powers. So that's how those four work together. But everything starts internal. Spirit moves inside out, not outside in. That means we're energy transmitters as well as receivers, but it's what we send out as to what we spiral back. And if we're sending it out at 20%, we're going to spiral it back at 20%. If we're sending it out at 80%, we're going to spiral it back at 80%. So that is why they keep us in doubts, fears, and guilts, keep us in this illusion, keep us lowered in our vibration, so we don't send that energy out in the security of the value of our connection to a universal mama who is Mama Magic. First two letters of magic is Ma. Where father, the air element, deals with logic and reason and knowing. Mama, the water, takes us beyond our logic and reason and our knowing. That's how she opens up the magic, goes beyond our contemplation. So we have to access that from the internal through how we feel, how Mama speaks to us internally through the water element from our ancient memory, our subconscious. The spiritual realm is Father's domain. First, we have the cosmic realm, the soul realm, Mama's domain, the subconscious, where our ancient ancestors reside. And then we have our spiritual ancestors, which is our family, loved ones that we're conscious of in this lifetime who've made their transition. They are the ones who go on the spiritual realm as our team and our entourage, our spiritual family, our spiritual ancestors. So we have ancient ancestors in the soul realm, we have spiritual ancestors in the spiritual realm, and we are the physical vessels or boots on the ground. So our spiritual ancestors can access the energy from our ancient ancestors, the soul realm, the subconscious, bring it to the spiritual realm or the conscious realm, the air element, and then we can balance between the spiritual and the physical because they're opposites as we channel that energy from the spiritual realm that's been accessed from the soul realm or the cosmic realm, our ancient ancestors, and now we channel that energy to the physical vessels or the boots on the ground, who then manifest that energy at ground level. That is what we're stepping into as the new rulers. Now we can just step up to our ancestors and ask them who've mastered on whatever creative purpose they have mastered in. And then channel that vibration to us at ground level so we can manifest that energy at ground level. That is how we bring Mama's love from the universe through the spiritual realm to the physical vessels who then manifests her love to her family at the physical level or ground zero. That is what we're stepping up to as we cross over from that physical half, illusionary external, to a spiritual internal and righteous empowerment. So that is what that story of Anteus is about, and how we ended up in this illusionary, how we were conquered. It's all about how and what we believe. So this material I'm about to read, some of you may have heard it before because some of you have brought it up to me. I've read it over the years. To me, it's very profound, and it's something we need to be hearing at this time. So I'm going to bring it back out. And some of you may have heard it, but a lot of you have not. And so I'm going to revisit this. It's called An Eagle's Gift, is what it's called. And it says here, understand that as an infant, you came into this world full of spirit, wonder, and natural power. If not for outer influences, you would have grown into a strong and powerful being. Anything you wanted could be yours. Anything you wanted to do, you could do. Just imagine limitless freedom. It is a birthright, you know. But unfortunately, because those who shaped our early minds were themselves limited by limiting beliefs, they consciously and unconsciously pass them on to us. Now, this now is the first truth. It is most important. Belief makes things real. It makes reality. Belief is made from thought. There is nothing real that was not first born of thought. You limit yourself only by the beliefs that you accept as true. This applies to everything. If you don't think you can have something or do something, sure enough, you can't. Now, Rufus is this. This is about Indians and how this Indian teacher is teaching this young Indian boy, and the teacher is named Rufus. So Rufus reached down for a twig, and he drew two long parallel lines in the sand. This is a river, he said, pointing, and through the mind of each person flows a river of energy and light. The light is a creative force, and the light is always being shaped by the thoughts and beliefs of that mind. The river is always flowing, so man is always creating, always. If his beliefs are limited, then so are his thoughts, and he keeps creating more of the same limited stuff. Everything that happens to you, everything you experience is what you made all by yourself, no exceptions. Society seems to teach to the contrary, that you're almost powerless to control your life, that except for hard work and constant struggle, you have little hope of overcoming the tide of misfortune that besets most men. This is only a belief, and because it is accepted as truth by the majority, it is experienced as reality. The simple truth is the opposite, however. You have complete control of your life, and you have the free will to decide what to believe. Once you decide to think for yourself and to believe what you like, the magic of the universe fills your every choice. Do you know that most people give away their power? So many just give away their first power, the power of choice, to others, to friends, to family, to their heroes, to God. They let these others choose what is best for them without ever consulting their own power, their own feelings. What you feel comes from the soul, the inner being, and it always knows which choices provide the best outcome. Just understand that influence from other people takes away your personal power. It must be reclaimed by thinking for yourself and by believing what you feel. To take advice is fine, but only if it feels right by you. So this is an ego's gift. This material I got off the internet way back, long time ago. Like I said, some of you probably heard me read this before because I've read it, over the years. But I felt like this was the right time of the type of information that I wanted to impart in this message. The last thing I'm going to read, this is some material that I received from Bobby Hemmett when I was an avid student of Bobby Hemmett's. And it's called A Mental Armageddon. It says, fundamentalists, Christians, commonly believe that the end of the world will be a completely physical event and will be sparked by some horrifying material agent. Global thermonuclear war, or the impact of a large asteroid, or a deadly plague. This supposition is natural in view of the concrete imagery of the book of Revelation. It is in keeping with the materialistic world view of modern society. But no one stops to consider that this destruction is described by angels, or that angels are spiritual, not physical beings. It says here in the material, in my opinion, the apocalypse prepared by the Enochian angels must be primarily an internal spiritual event, and only in a secondary way an external physical catastrophe. The gates of the watchtowers that stand guard at the four corners of our dimensions of reality are mental constructions. When they are open, they will admit the demons of Corazon, not into the physical world, but into our subconscious minds. Spirits are mental and not material. They dwell in the depths of the mind and communicate with us through our dreams, unconscious impulses, and more rarely in waking visions. They affect our feelings and our thoughts beneath the level of our conscious awareness. Sometimes they are able to control our actions either partially or, as in the case of irrational and obsessive behavior patterns, or completely, as in the case of full possessions. Through us and only through us are they able to influence physical things. So, all this is dealing with the mind and how we're now being liberated from the illusion, thinking that we are vulnerable, thinking because what they're telling us in this physical illusion from the external is exactly opposite of who we truly are. So they have made us to believe in the material power of that Taurus energy. And without that material power, we feel that we are handicapped. You see, just wait till I get this money. I'm going to do this or that. Or, I can't do what I want to do because I don't have the money. We have turned our material power, we have become dependent on our material power, and that material power is now falling. Now we have to go internal with that Taurus energy and understand our true value as spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way around. We have to manifest spiritual energy so that we can identify the impurities in order to cleanse and purge of those impurities for our healing, so we can step up to our highest purpose and our highest agenda. So, coming out of the doubts, fears, and guilts, which they programmed us to believe is real in this physical illusion, which is making us feel helpless, vulnerable, because they denied the material power, you see. So without the material power, we're thinking that is what's making us, weak. But your power is internal. It's not outside of you. It's the material power versus your spiritual powers. You can't serve two masters. And the mama bird is now trying to push the baby birds out of that proverbial material nest so they can find out they have been liberated. They can fly. They no longer have that yoke of materialism keeping them grounded in this physical illusion. Like I said, they said in the last days, they're going to be throwing money in the street, and we're definitely in the last days as we know it. And material power is definitely losing ground. Banks are closing daily, weekly, monthly. So the material power is falling. It's for us to transition to our spiritual powers, to liberate us. Those that are having struggles materially the most are the ones being pushed out of that material nest so they can find their spiritual powers and liberate themselves. So I always tell the story of how when I lived in Atlanta and I had a Taurus roommate. Taurus is the sign that loves their money. And I had a Taurus roommate, and I've told this story where she was a master chanter. She could chant her butt off. I came home one evening late at night, and the whole front of my house was lit up as she was in her room chanting. But she always chanted for money as a Taurus. And Spirit had a sense of humor because it started leaving pennies all over the house. It wanted to show her she had the power to bring the money, but it wasn't going to bring her the type of money that she could become dependent on. And I also had a client to ask me if my spirit's so powerful, Why won't it bring me $1 million? And I would say, because then you would think your power is the $1 million. You will forget the power you had to bring the $1 million. And that defeats the purpose of what Spirit is trying to prove to you and to show you. So now it's time for us to come out of the dependency on that material power, which is only an illusion of power, external. It's not real, and it's falling. And now it's time for us to go internal and understand our true value when it comes to our spiritual powers by the spiritual purpose that we have mastered in through many lifetimes and have brought that mastery to the table in the Aquarian age as a contribution to the fulfillment of this universal purpose that is now being fulfilled. I also want to tell you about how when way back when George Bush Jr. was president, there was this woman in the news named Terry Shibro. And Terry Shibro was on life support. And the husband wanted to take her off of life support, and the parents wanted to keep her on. So they had to end up going to court to decide. And at that time, George Bush Jr., the president of the United States, stepped up and said, we need to keep her on life support. And that's when my antennas went up. I'm like, why would the president of the United States be concerned about whether or not this woman is on life support or not? Well, the husband won the court case, so they were able to take her off of life support, and she passed away. And when she passed away, a week later, so did the Pope. So what my analyzation, what Spirit gave to me about this story is her name, Terry. We can look at that as terror or materialism. Materialism being propped up through an illusion and its value not real. Terror, Terry Shibro on life support, being propped up by a machine, or materialism being propped up through an illusion, but its value's not real. And when materialism falls, then so does the illusion, the father of illusion, the Pope. So once they lose the power to control us through materialism, then so falls the illusion. And now we'll be controlled by brute force if they have their way. So they already got these agendas from a global level to control us by brute force. Their practice was the last 4 or 5 years. They're going to come with that same kind, excuse me, that same kind of agenda. So now, excuse me, let me take a drink of water. Don't want to keep coughing. So now, materialism is falling. And that means they're no longer going to try to manipulate us through materialism. They're no longer going to be able to manipulate us through the illusion. So that is where they're going to really come hard. So, but we don't have to worry. As long as we know and are secure within ourselves that there's a bigger purpose being served, and we are getting ready to jump the other side of the fence. So we have to be secure, the earth element, internal. We have to be secure from within and who we are as universal royal beings who have been hit in the head and lost, consciousness of our power. And now we're being healed. Now they have reached their maximum, their 180-degree maximum of their abuse of power, their corrupted power. And now it's time for the spiritual balance to the physical illusion to make itself known. But we have to go internal to connect with that reality from within. And that's what we're stepping into. That's what we're stepping up to. And that is how we're coming out of the illusion. And that is how Humpty Dumpty is falling off the wall. And like I said, they depicted Humpty Dumpty as an egg. That means a fragile position of power because it's not real. It's based on an illusion. And if you believe what they're feeding you, then you're energizing it into your reality. Nobody has more power than you do to create your own reality, but you got to know that. And now it's not enough just to know it. Now you have to be able to walk in that knowing. It's a difference in knowing and walking in the knowing. And now it's time for us to begin walking in the knowing. And the only way we can do that is we have to be secure from within. There's 2 prerequisites to qualifying as a royal ruler. Number 1, you have to be secure from within. That's the earth element. You have to be secure from within and not look outside of yourself through your ego and be manipulated by your ego to be used as a tool against this royal purpose. Now, the second prerequisite to qualifying as a royal ruler, how the universe judges you if you qualify as a royal ruler, is the second criteria is you have to prove to the universe that you will not abuse that power, but that you will use it righteously. So that's the culmination of the ultimate daughter character and the ultimate son of power. A Tsar can only resurrect in that full abundance of power when he's learned the lessons of righteous thinking and come in balance or even to the ultimate daughter of character, the security in our value of who we are as righteous rulers for a new Aquarian age. Those 4 components through the 4 elements, the highest vibration. When you're dealing with the air, you're dealing with righteousness, particular righteous thinking. That is the Father's domain. When you're dealing with the water, you're dealing with the love, the unconditional love of Mama for her ancient, universal, melanated family. So that is the water component, love, unconditional love for her family. And then when we're dealing with the fire, we're dealing with the sun, that is the passion and the desire to protect righteousness. That is the fire, highest vibration, the passion to protect righteousness. And then the earth, the daughter component, is character, integrity, and character. Those are the highest components of those royal family of energy. And as high as you can lift your vibration to those 4 highest qualities is as high as you can spiral that energy back to you. Spirit is spiral. What goes around comes around. And as high as you can take those vibrations is as high as you receive it back, full spiral. So once you're secure in the knowing of that and your ability to tap into the universal energy where you're tapping into the magic of the universe through righteous Father's spirit, righteous thinking, how you think and imagine what you want to energize into your reality. And you do this in righteousness, in character, and the passion of righteousness, then that is how you tap into the highest vibration and the highest power. Father brings us spiritual powers. the air and the fire, and Mama brings us the magic of the universe. And we need all those components, all four: the character, the righteousness, the love, and the passion, in order to have those four pistons harmonizing as one in a family operation, harmonizing as one. And that is what we're stepping up to as the new rulers. All we got to do now is step up to our ancestors and say, which one of you have mastered? I want to create music. I want to create a meal. I want to create a writing, a play, whatever you want to create. It's the creative power that's going to blossom. Wherever you're creative at is where you're going to blossom, where the material kingdom is falling. And all we got to do now is step up to our ancestors, our spiritual and our soul ancestors, and say, which one of my ancestors have mastered in this creative power? Channel that vibration to me so I can manifest it at ground level. That is how we're going to harmonize between the three realms, from the cosmic soul realm to the spiritual realm to the physical vessels and boots on the ground, who will then manifest that energy at ground level. So that is my presentation. So I don't know, where do you want to go from here?
Here we go. Peace, Sister MyRah. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. I'm over.
Okay, I don't hear you now. You're muted. Hello. Can't hear you. Oh,
there,
there
can
we
you hear me
go.
now? Okay, good. I was all excited over here taking all these notes. I know everyone else is excited as well. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. No one can share, no one can teach, no one can give like you. It is like a warm blanket, you know, of like a warm hug from Big Mama.
Yes, yes.
I'm so grateful. Before we even got on here, when I saw you come on camera, like, remember I told you I was getting so emotional.
Yes, you heard. Mama really jabbing you there.
Yeah, right. So I can feel it, and I know everyone else can feel it. So first, I want to say thank you, and then I want to speak to everyone that's listening. The last time Sister MyRah did something like this at this level was December 12th, 21. And that was your coming out, lecture, right? From being retired.
Yes. All right.
Yes. And it was powerful because you spoke about superseding the illusion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And who we are, to know who we are as spiritual beings.
Yes.
And so what you said is, okay, now we know. Yes. Now it's time to break the illusion, right?
Yes.
And we have to walk in that knowing.
Yes.
And so for me, it's so profound because you started there, and now here we are here.
Full circle. Yes.
Full circle. Yes. And for those of you who don't know, that was a private lecture that Sister MyRah did. And a few weeks ago, we spoke. Yes. And I said, Sister MyRah, you're gonna have to teach, because are you ready to do this, right?
Yes.
And we both agreed, like, let's do it on YouTube, public, for the soul family, because everyone needs to hear this message. Everyone needs to hear this. Yes. And so first, thank you, Sister MyRah. And second, thank you all for being here and listening to this message. I want to share something. Can I share some things? Because I was grabbing my books, right?
Yes.
As you were teaching. The first thing I want to share is this, and this is from what book is this? So this is from, again, Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yes.
I want to share this part, and this really goes to everyone that's listening. So it says, and what shall a man understand without knowledge, and without hearing, insight, the impulse of our heart with great intelligence? He uncovered our ears that we might hear. He created insight for those who pursue true knowledge. This isn't for everyone. This is for those who are pursuing true knowledge. And all wisdom is from eternity, and it may not be changed, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so this, you all are getting information from someone who speaks pure truth. The truth doesn't change. It aligns with science. Everything Sister MyRah says, it matches with the stars. It's going to align with that. We even talked about it matching with geometry, Sister MyRah and I shared a channel message that I received that was in alignment even with the Sirius star system.
Yes.
So this is a lecture, you all. This is something that I'm gonna rewatch it. I'm gonna take notes again. This is something that you're gonna have to rewatch and really let it permeate in your soul, because it is knowing, it is truth, it is knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to post something. I wanted to share something because you said something, and I was like, man.
That's what I like to do. Trigger. I like to trigger.
You said this is the illusion. You have the power. When you buy into fear, doubts, and guilt, you energize the illusion. This is the power that you have. Y'all take a screenshot of this or write this down and remind yourself of this every day. You are the one energizing this. You all are the ones with the power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is something powerful that you shared that almost like fell out of my couch.
Beautiful. I love triggering. I tell people when it resonates with you, that's you remembering. It's not you learning anything new. You're now remembering a SAR, or you're remembering from the subconscious. So that's when it resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's not meant for you. You know, I'm not going to argue over details. If you don't get it, if it doesn't work for you, if you have an issue with the information, it's just not meant for you.
Right.
Okay? It's only meant for those that it resonates with you. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm not trying to make anybody believe what I believe or force you to think what I think. It's just me presenting the information as I receive it. And like I said, if it resonates with you, then it was meant for you. If not, it just wasn't meant for you. It's no, nothing wrong with that. Nothing bad about that, you see. So that's triggered your memory.
It sure did. It sure did.
That's what I love to do. I love to trigger those, when I'm doing consultations and I say something and somebody goes, or, I go, I do, what? I'm eager to find out. What did I trigger? What did I trigger? That's what I just love when I hit one of those triggers. You see.
Thank you again so much for that.
You're welcome.
So there was a question that someone had, and I would love for you to answer it. And the question was, so the solstice is the 21st. Now with this information, this knowledge, this knowing that you shared with us, what are we supposed to do? Is there something special we should do? What happens on the solstice?
I'm sure it's going to come in like any other day. And just like I told you, there's not going to be, dynamites or explosions or anything like that, you see. It's just going to be that, and the more people know and energize it, that the energy is now reversing. That's all you have to understand, is that the energy is now reversing. And you don't have to do anything. What you're going to do is look back, sometime later and see how things have changed, you see. But it's going to be precept upon precept. Something will happen that'll validate a righteous energy at play, and you'll celebrate that and be happy and move on about your business. And then another 2 weeks later, something else happens that validates a righteous energy, and you'll celebrate that. And it's not until another one and another one and another one, then you'll start saying, wait a minute, something has changed here, So it's just knowing that energy has turned. And now you have the power of the universe and righteous Father Spirit dictating what the energy is manifesting, you see. So the more you know that, the more you're going to energize it for your own reality, you see.
Yes.
So you don't have to do anything but watch, just watch. And then, you'll begin to take notes of how things have turned around, how things have changed. Right now, it's like a small vibration, then it's going to continue. Next thing you know, it's going to be the dominant rotation, you see.
Yes.
So, but it's going to start small, and then it's going to continue to build. So,
Right.
So you just be perceptive of how, especially when you start seeing things, like if you see something in the news that you feel is, not right, unjust and unfair. And then you wait for the outcome, and the outcome comes in the way that you would want it to come. Then you'll start recognizing, how that tide has turned. But it's going to happen precept upon precept. It's not going to do bam, bam, it's going to happen as you begin to perceive the change in that energy. So
yes.
Just keep a watchful eye, just watch and see how it turns.
Okay. Thank you, Sister MyRah. You all, I want you to acknowledge this time. This is a master. She's not just a master teacher, she's a master, right? So many people call you our oracle, right?
Yeah.
But you are among a master here, and you're going to look 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now and say, I was in a live conversation. I learned from Sister MyRah Moss. Like, I was there,
Yeah.
So this is truly, truly a special gift. Truly a special gift.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Queen of Swords, for your love gift. So Sister MyRah, I would like to share your website, and I want to share something specific about your website. So I'm going to share the website, sistermyrah.com. I know someone mentioned like she's booked out until June. If you want a consultation with or reading with Sister MyRah, go ahead and do it. Divine timing is perfect timing. So many people book readings with her, and then they actually need it months down the line, right? So you may not need it right now, but you may need it, next year. So definitely book with her. Let me go ahead and share the actual screen because I want to show something to everyone. Okay, here we go. So if you go on her website, you want to scroll down to the section here, donations, okay? So don't send Sister MyRah Cash App. You guys, you broke her Cash App. you broke her Cash App. Cash App shut her down.
They said too many transmissions. It wasn't how much, it was too many transmissions.
Yeah, too many. So please send your love donations to Sister MyRah. Again, go to her website, sistermyrah.com. I'll show you again where you can go. You can scroll down here and then go right here to donations. And then you can donate your love gift, any amount, that you so desire, if you feel led to. Okay. Thank you so much. I saw someone else shared a love gift on here. So thank you so much for that as well. Let me bring this back here. So Sister MyRah, oh my goodness. I don't want this to end, right? I don't want this to end. I know everyone else is like, yeah, share some more.
Well, let me tell you this. Talking about what goes around comes around, because we're coming back to New Orleans now, the Super Bowl in New Orleans. That's where I started. So I go and bringing up the Super Bowl in New Orleans. The show I did with you is when I did the show with when I described Heart Part 5, Kendrick Lamar.
Oh yes! Oh my goodness!
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I did the Gathering of the Masters, okay, before I did the Gathering of the Masters, someone contacted me by text message from California.
Yeah.
And they said, how can we find that video you did with the Heart Part 5, which was what I did on your show.
Right.
And they said, how can we find that video with Kendrick Lamar that you did on the Heart Part 5? So I told them how to find it, Right. And then when I went to the Gathering of the Masters, and I was doing my presentation, and I talked about Heart Part 5 and Kendrick Lamar and what the Heart Part 5 meant. At one point I was like, You guys, I'm not trying to speak for Kendrick Lamar now. I'm not trying to speak for Kendrick Lamar. I said, because I don't even know if he knows, my take on this.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said that, there were 5 people in the audience in the front row that shouted up to me that Kendrick Lamar knew.
Yes.
So I'm thinking he was the one, or it's his team that texted me to find out how to find that video. And so he sent his people that were in the front row, and they hollered up at me, yes, he knows what you did with the Heart Part 5. And at the same time, I talked about the Super Bowl, because I talked about this year's Super Bowl.
You sure did.
Demonstrated the number 13. And next year will be the 14th Super Bowl, where a SAR puts on his resurrection, or his. So that'll be the significant Super Bowl, because this Super Bowl was 13, Super Bowl 58, and they emphasized the 13. And next year it'll be Super Bowl 59, where that 14 pieces of a SAR. So lo and behold, about a month after I did the Gathering of the Masters, they announced that Kendrick Lamar is going to do the Super Bowl. So I'm really ecstatic about that, thinking I may have had some influence on, him stepping up to do this Super Bowl, where it's going to represent a SAR coming to the fullness of his power and resurrecting in his power. I'm trying to get there, me and my son, but I looked up the Super Bowl tickets and they were just astronomical. So, but we're thinking about going anyway, and just,
listen, Sister MyRah, listen.
Time so that we can just hobnob, in the Super Bowl crowd. And especially because it looks like the 2 teams that I'm most into may be there. I don't know. I'm into the Steelers and I'm into the Detroit Lions. So they could both be in the Super Bowl, because they're both AFC and NFC. That's, I don't know. I'm just saying that would really be something to be there during that time. So that's my son's birthday, because his birthday is February the 14th. So he's born on Valentine's Day. Boy, the 14. I just thought about that. So
I know sometimes you're channeling and you're sharing and you don't realize until after. Yeah. Because when you did that video, right, you mentioned Kendrick Lamar, and everybody was like, Kendrick Lamar, like he's not even that big. Like, why are you mentioning, right?
Yeah, when I did the one on Brother Rich's show, I did the KKK.
Yeah.
Because it was on 11/11. So Spirit came to me and said the 11th letter of the alphabet is K. So that's when it said do the KKK. So I did Kanye, Kyrie, and Kendrick.
Right.
And even Brother Rich was like, Kendrick, where you come up with Kendrick at? Everybody was like, why you put Kendrick in there? Because, they was giving me other suggestions on what K to use, and, but they all had a debate about Kendrick. And now, and then, Kendrick has been on the scene, so now they're all, the comments I read from the last show I did with Brother Rich, they're bringing that up. They're saying, I didn't believe that Kendrick. I didn't believe in the Kendrick, but she prophesied, and now Kendrick is out there. So yeah. So that shows you, like you said, how you be channeling. I just be bringing through what I'm inspired, and that's how I get the information through Spirit. But it's not me, you guys. It's not my message. I'm just the messenger. So don't confuse the message with the messenger. And like I said, if it doesn't resonate, then it's just not a message that's meant for you. So don't debate me on details, because it's not me. It's not my details. It's what I'm just reporting to you. And I've been doing this for many, many years, and Spirit has not yet let me down. It's always validated, me putting this information out on faith. So it always has validated my messages. So I'm very secure about what I put out, even though it's not something that I figured out or thought up myself. You see. And normally I will ask, like when I do these presentations, I'll ask Spirit, come on board, be there with me, help me put this out in the way you want it
Yeah.
out there. So I'm totally dependent on spirit on this, as in my role in what I'm doing. So
we all know, we feel it. We see, we know when you start doing that's the SiStar MyRah rock.
Walking, yeah.
Oh, listen, start taking notes. Tap in.
Yeah, she's vibing. So,
oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much again. I'm so honored. We are all honored. I think I speak for everyone here, that you took the time to to, and not just here I am, let's just talk, but you really took a few weeks to put this message together for us.
Yes, the material. Yes.
Yeah, so we appreciate your time and your effort as always, SiStar MyRah.
It's always wonderful to be appreciated, and the feeling is definitely mutual. We are family. I may be the mama in the family, but we're all family. And this is what you need to hear, need to know. And I'm honored that I'm being used as a vessel to bring this message to you, because it's time for us to step up in the security of our knowing of who we are and step up into our power. That's what time it is. And that's the message I'm trying to get you to receive. So
thank you so much, SiStar MyRah. Again, thank you everyone that was here today sharing your energy.
Of your family.
SiStar MyRah, any closing words for anyone? Any love shares?
Hey, look, let Professor Melanie know if you experience anything at that winter solstice or anything, close beyond. Everybody's going to be picking up in unique ways, you say. So you may pick up on something that I don't pick up on, or somebody else don't pick up on. So if anybody is picking up and feeling and sensitive to how this energy is turning around and changing, please, make a report. Let us know. That's the way we validate this information. So let us know what you experience as we move through this time, the most significant of time. And we're all very sensitive to this energy. So let us know how you pick up through your sensitivity, this change of energy. That would be interesting to know. So
yes, thank you. Definitely leave it in the comments. Like SiStar MyRah said, SiStar MyRah does read comments now. She does watch, right? So, leave it in the comments section. Like she said, if you experienced anything, so that she can see it. Don't think that she won't see it. She will see it.
Yes.
So again, with that said, SiStar MyRah, thank you so much for coming on here tonight. We love you. I love you.
Yes.
Thanks from the whole Soul family. And everyone have a wonderful, wonderful night. Good night, everyone.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Everyone.